everyone. This is the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larisa. I go live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. This show is all about success, but not success that measured only by obtaining wealth and positions that a lot of people are trying to obtain, but success in all areas of your life. So I'm here sharing with you experience, knowledge, tips and techniques about how you can create success in your life. In all areas of your life. So today I'm gonna to continue to share with you my success journey, and also would like to discuss with you about success wound that many successful entrepreneurs and business owners are developing through their developing of their businesses. So last episode, I was talking to you about how I had this inner longing that was so strong in me that was just really forcing me to start to go and look for that land that was telling me to have. But at the same time, alongside with that longing, I had already established business that was very successful. And this dynamic of these two forces that were going within me were constantly pulling me into different directions. So trust the longing that is this is the unknown. This is something that I had no idea why do I need this, and I really was suppressing this voice for some time, and was really thinking, well, I have this stable business, I have this success, and I have this financial freedom. Why would I actually even look at something that I have no idea why I need? But at the same time, this conflict that was within me, that it's almost like I don't belong to this business anymore. There was no purpose anymore, and that unknown, that sense of adventure was so strong. So I actually listened to it. And so I end up my first episode with telling you that, I purchased the property and I was just jumping from the cliff because logically I didn't really had any idea or picture in my mind. Why would I have 89 acres of land in South Australia? And what reason behind that? So that was really a journey of trusting this unknown, but it was really, really scary. I was just so afraid. But at the same time, that strong current of that adventure that is unknown was pushing me towards experiencing that, right? And then I was so involved with all of this excitement of obtaining this property. At that time, I didn't really know that this property is so important in my life, because really in the future that healed me. Because by this time of being for more than 10 years in a very demanding, very highly stressful business of international trading, export and import, with all of these, difficulties and challenges, I, developed disease. I developed illness that was really serious. So by listening my intuition, by involving and using these higher faculties that we have when we actually connect into our intuition, it was really for my healing. So when I purchased my property, in a couple of months' time, I was delivered a very serious diagnosis. So I had developed breast cancer. Yes, I'm a little emotional right now. This time was really almost like a surreal time. I had success, and I had this longing come into my life, But at the same time, I was facing this, the diagnosis that possibly could take my life. So I was contemplating on this, and I was just thinking to myself, how can I? What can I decide about it? What my next step in my life is? And here again, I had this intuitive voice coming up into my system and into my being, saying to me, why you surprised? Why you surprised? You have never been living your life. You always been living life of your business, life of your parents, your children, your friends, your partner, all of these people around you that were having some dreams and goals. And I was trying to help them to have these goals to be achieved. And I was just like, wow, if I have this voice telling me that I didn't live my life yet, what if I will start to live my life? And what if possibly if I start to live my life, I can heal myself? So I was just kind of in this space of unknowing and the space of this fear, and I was just contemplating what decision to make. Do I go and do all the medical protocols, or do I really trust my intuitive voice and start to really build my life? And I was asking myself a question, how my life look like without all of this. And I didn't really have an idea how my life would look like if I'm not looking after anyone around me, how my life look like. So, and I decided that my life looked like to take care of myself at that moment where I was. That was the number one priority. So I resigned from business and I completely dropped successful, very stable business. And I just would came to my property and I would just be by myself, facing this decision that I need to make. And that was really hard time. But at the same time, I felt like there's so many people around me start to express their fears when they learned that I had this diagnosis. So I understand, of course, it is very scary. And they all would start to recommend and start to really express their fears to me. And I remember the time where I really just wanted to say to everyone that would start to really convince me about making decision and quickly run to the medical institution and do operation, I would say to them, you know, guys, I really appreciate and grateful for your care and concern about my illness, but I feel that you really projecting your fear on me. I need to deal with my own fear here. And I really would like to have a space, my own personal space. So there's been a number of people that have fully supported me. My younger son was telling me that, you know, Mom, you know better what is the best for you. Doesn't matter what decision you make. I'm really supporting you. So there was a time where I could see where I was myself and where everyone around me were in that emotional kind of scale of their fear and their own inner dynamics. So what I have decided is that I will start to build my life and I would surrender into the process of of learning lesson from this creation that I did for myself. So I was fully, totally surrendered into the process of honoring my space and my time. And also what I discovered from this process is that there was a lack of love. There was a lack of self-love. I could see it clearly, like a screen on my mind was opening up, and I could see how much I was just dishonoring myself. There was no I was betraying myself by many times saying yes where I was thinking no, saying and doing things where I felt like it's not really resonating with me. So I was constantly trying to please all the other people and make them feel good instead of, taking it all inside of me and saying, well, how do I feel? So through the 6 months of doing this, of being with myself, of reflecting on my life, on all my decisions and acts and all these, relationships, I decided that I'm just going to be with this, with what I created. And instead of taking out of my body these abnormal cells and and satisfying all other people's fears, I decided that I will be leaving these cells with me. And instead of hating it, I start to really love this part of myself. I remember talking to my little abnormal confused cells that, guys, thank you so much that you basically kicked my ass, that I wake up finally, that what I'm doing, I'm really supporting others all the time. And I was just thanking these abnormal cells, and saying, guys, I'm not going to take you out of my body. I'm going to love you, and I'm give you full permission to do whatever you want to do. If you really want to take my body, well, I give you permission for that. So that was really powerful. And I felt it in my body. I felt that my body from that moment on become into this a healing journey, because the body straight away read this message. And after some months, I went for a checkup, and there was no pathology. So I was just absolutely, I was amazed, and I really didn't understand how that was happening and what level the healing happened. So I really was confused about the system that telling us how dangerous this disease is and how we only have this one way of dealing with this. So basically, I was taking risk to do what my intuition and what my inner knowing was telling me. So that was really amazing healing. And I couldn't believe in the beginning. I would go every 3 months, I would go for this checkup again, confirming for myself and confirming that everything is fine. So then I was asking myself a question. It's like, wow, if we can do this, if I can do this, well, then anyone can do this. So I started to investigate all of these areas, and I couldn't really kind of have these dots connected together. So I went to do research, and I really wanted to know on a logical reason level how the healing happened and how the transformation happening within my emotional body and mental body and spiritual body, wherever you have. Back then, I didn't know all of this. And a physical body just took on all of this and healed itself. So I found school in America called Barbara Brennan School of Healing. And when I read the curriculum of this school, I knew that this school and the program will explain for me in details of how we develop in diseases and how we develop in distortions and symptoms, and how we actually can undevelop it by facing our distorted, erroneous beliefs about ourselves. So we can go deeper into these recesses of our feeling and of our limitations and our fears, and we need to explore personally and individually what we hold in as a limited substance within ourselves. And that limited material is constantly driving us into the decisions or non-decisions about our life and about our relationships and all what we do. So after 4 years of attending this school and graduating from this school, becoming accredited energy healer, I now help people to dive into these inner recesses of their psyche and help them and facilitate and support them to understand why they would develop a certain symptoms and certain distortions. So the property that I bought without knowing why I needed was so instrumental in it, because it gave me space to be connected to nature, to myself, to just that higher imperative that we most of the time not connected and not understand. So and now I'm living very happy, joyful life, because my longings are here. I fulfilled my longings in the form of having the space and place for the benefit of many. And at the same time, I'm constantly growing and developing myself, and I'm constantly looking at another adventurous, ways how I can regenerate my own growth and development and regenerate my business. Because when we're afraid to step into this unknown, well, then we actually basically sitting back with what we already know and what we already created, and we go and we hold and keep this sustainability of that success or whatever we already achieved. For me, this is not regenerative. So my personality or my longing is always to look ahead and see what is ahead of me and what I don't understand. So I'm learning every day. And now I would like to really share with what I went through when I was successful entrepreneur back 15 years ago, when I developed and created company that in 3 years time become really successful. There's the so-called success wound. All successful or many successful people are developing, and I'd like to really share with you how all this process is taking place. I remember, and there's about 4 or 5 states that we all go through when we start to feel success. And a success wound is a distorted habits that we develop through testing, through having this success that we achieve initially. And I remember time when I was building the business. I was working 80 hours, a week. It was maybe even more, because I needed to find the office. I needed to buy furniture. I needed to find a few people that I need to really invite to help me with all the logistical tasks of the business. And it's like you just go and you do it. You do it 24 hours a day. Like, even when I was going to bed, my mind was having this, thoughts that would never stop. So you really operate and function on this excitement and adrenaline of your idea, and you start to see how your business is growing and developing, how the business is achieving stuff. But and it can take 6 months, it can take 8 months. For different businesses, it is a different period of time. And I remember for me, it was like that 3-year period, or maybe a little less. But I remember when I already had my team on the floor. There was about 4 people that are, working on all the documentation and orders and wherever you have there. I found myself suddenly have some free time. And that's where I was start. I remember I would just have this block of time, like 3 or 4 or 5 hours, and I was just afraid to face this free time because I was feeling guilty. I was feeling guilty that my team is working and I am here having this gap of free time, 3 hours. That's just unheard of. And I start to develop that guilt and shame. And I remember I would kind of almost artificially try to find some sort of activities that I can keep doing. And this is because when you taste success, you create that belief within yourself that if you're successful, but because you're successful of doing and doing and doing, if you stop for some time, or if you just have that, period of time that you're not investing in your business anymore, you're not going to be loved, or you're not going to be successful anymore. And this dynamics is kind of, it's a really limiting and damaging dynamics, because instead of using this block of time for your health, for your own inner, maybe, reflection, for investing that time into strengthening your relationships. You find yourself that you're sitting there and you're feeling guilty that you're not doing something. You're not doing something for your business. So that was number one for me, discovery. And I was I was following this guilt, and I was just I would create more and more activities for me. Thank you. I'm sorry, Anita. That was really kind of, I was asking myself, I was questioning myself about it. Like, yes, I have time now. What to do? So I felt uncomfortable not to do anything. Then the second sign of having this distorted habit was like I was trying to avoid discussions or the frustrated moments with my family. It's almost like I was blaming them for saying, you demanding me to give you what, don't you love me for what I am doing for the family financial freedom? I'm putting all my time, all my energy, all my effort on the altar of my family financial wellness. And you demanding from me something. Don't you love me for that, right? It's like that distorted, place, that it is distorted emotional place within yourself that is like, don't you see what I'm doing? You have to love me for what I'm doing. So the third one is also is like attachment to your position and role. I remember when I was already fall into this, deep depression, and I feeling the conflict with me being in business, and I already resigned from the business, and still would accept a lot of invitations for different functions and things like that. And every time I would go and I would meet someone and they would ask me what I'm doing, like, and I would still would introduce myself by saying, well, I'm a managing director of this company and things. And then I was catching myself on the thought that, like, I'm not. Why I'm still doing it? Well, all of these signs, even to a small degree, indicates that we have this success wound, which needs to be reflected on, needs to be looked on, paid attention, because if we don't, we creating this gap between our loved ones and ourselves. And the more we are avoiding this direct communication, the more we're not recognizing that if we have free time, if we have this success that we achieve through doing, we now have time that is a golden opportunity for us to start to build and invest in our relationships. Keep investing in our families, in our hobbies that we love to do. We need to start to explore all these other areas of our lives that are it's a part of our life, and this is something that can bring us joy and connection. So this is really what I wanted to tell you about today, and really invite you to look at success that you created in your life. And if it is a one-sided, if you find yourself feeling guilty, if you have some space of time for yourself, if you find yourself that you don't want to really discuss anything with your loved one, you want them to really, love you for your success, for what you're doing constantly. So, and also if you find yourself really attached to your roles and positions, so this is something that needs to be contemplated on and really emotionally looked at, and make this healing of these places within yourself, and start to really ask yourself a questions. Well, how can I, in a balanced way, to distribute my attention, my energy, my time, and my effort, so that all areas of my life have this, I'm not saying equal, but but that priority scale needs to be balanced in a way that you look at all areas of your life. Well, I think I'm done for today, and I shared something that from the past kept me in a very limited mind frame of having this emotional state that would really shape my mental decisions and not decisions. So I would like you to invite again next Wednesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to talk more about this inner dynamics that going on within successful people that are only measure success by the level of wealth and positions. Thank you.